Greetings, and I hope this video finds you well. Today I'm going to do a little video on one of the aspects of my discussion form requirements. So whether you happen to be a student of mine at South Seattle College or Kaplan University, you will notice that I always have this little requirement in my discussions, and that is to use a quote from the assigned text readings that you were assigned that particular week to support your own opinions and thoughts. So basically what you're going to do is to support your ideas using scholarship. And then I tell you not to start your post out or end your post with a quote, because then you're having the quote speak for you. And I'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute. And then everybody is required to cite the information correctly, whether you're doing a paraphrase or a quote, okay? And let's look at what this means. Now, if you're my student, if a student of mine at South Seattle College, you have a choice to do either MLA citations or APA citations. But my students at Kaplan University, you're required to do APA citations. Today's video is going to reflect more of an MLA citation, but what you need to do is the same regardless. I will be giving a little video out later to my Kaplan students and for those who prefer APA, how to do APA form. So let's take a look at an example prompt that you might receive in the discussion forum questions. Here is a prompt I have written for myself. This isn't actually a question I ask any of my students, but except on the introductory week, but it should do for what we need today. The question I have asked myself is, what is computer-mediated communication, CMC, and how much of your day is impacted by CMC? And this is my answer here. All right, so let me go through and read it. Computer-mediated communication, or CMC, is communication efforts aided through the use of computer technology. Thoreau, Lingle, and Tomlek in computer-mediated communication define this concept as any human communication achieved through or with the help of computer technology. More specifically, according to John December, 1997, CMC is a process between humans communicating with the use of computers, and this interaction shapes media. December as cited by Thoreau, Lingle, and Tomlek. Kindle location 432. When this book was published over 10 years ago, CMC impacted my life a great deal, but not nearly as much as it does today. Today, I am on my computer most of the day, teaching courses and interacting with students using learning management systems, email, composing videos, talking via Skype, and texting. I would have to say that without CMC, there'd be a mistake there. There we go. I would not have a job. Okay, so what did I do here? The first thing I did is I put all the information really in my own words. This demonstrates to my instructor and also to myself that I understand the concept. If you jump right out and use a quote to define an idea without kind of giving it in your own words, it's very difficult for me to know as the instructor, first of all, whether you really understand the concept and also how to apply it correctly. By using this particular form here, it demonstrates that me as the reader, that I understand the concept of computer-mediated communication, but then I demonstrated two different other views of it as well. First, I use the folks who are the authors of the textbook I use for this particular class, and I use their definition. Now you'll notice here, it says Kindle location 418. For this particular book, it doesn't have a page number. It only has a Kindle location that is cited. Most of the time you're going to do a page number. So most of the time this is going to look more like P period 25, for example. But because I'm using an e-textbook, another form of computer-mediated communication, I have to go through the Kindle location. Now, a lot of the more textbook-oriented virtual books that you have either through Kindle or I think the other popular one is Vitasource bookshelves, and I'm going to bring that up real quick so you can see what that looks like. These have page numbers. So this is a Vita shelf, and this is a class I teach at Kaplan University. And if I go here to what is a work of art, I'm shown here that there's a page number 18, and it says page 18 here. Okay, and as I scroll through, the page numbers up here change. Now this is more like how a lot of textbooks now work, so you probably won't always have a Kindle location. Take that down. In my textbook I'm using here for computer-mediated communication, I found that there was more than, let's go ahead and get to the first chapter, there was more than one definition of computer-mediated communication. And I'm going to bring this up here so that you can see it. So this is where the authors define it. There we go, on this page here. So this is the definition I took, but then I also took this other definition from John December here because it was a little bit more specific, and I thought maybe it would capture what I was trying to communicate better. And that's why I used both of them here. For the Kindle book, for those of my students who have it, this is where the location part is located at the very bottom of the page. So that's how you're going to find what page number or location in this case to cite in your citation. Let me lower this. And then I've rounded everything out with a bibliography or works cited ending citation here. So that's just as important. So that's basically what I'm looking for. You don't ever want to start off a post with a quote, just like you don't want to do it with a paper or start a paragraph off with a quote. You want the quotes to support you. You don't want the quotes to speak for you. So what we're saying here is you don't want this whole entire thing to be filled with quotes. You want to learn the wonderful skill of the balance between using a short quote to have somebody who's an expert in the field back up your opinion and having the ability to go through and give us a really good paraphrase of the information. But even if you paraphrase somebody, you must cite them. So let's look at this paraphrase real quick. I say, more specifically, according to John December, 1997, CMC is a process between humans communicating with the use of computers, and this interaction shapes media. So this is my paraphrase. And if we look at the actual quote, and I'll bring up my Kindle here, the actual quote is here. Computer-mediated communication is a process of human communication via computers involving people situated in particular contexts, engaging in processes to shape media for a variety of purposes. So you see, what I did is I basically captured the spirit of this particular quote in my paraphrase, which is right here. All right. Last thing I want to mention is when you do have a citation inside, with your work here, a lot of students put a period here. That's not, I know there's a period at the end of the sentence, but because you are still following this sentence up with a citation, you have to stay with the rules of punctuation. So you get rid of the period or the ending punctuation at the end of your quote, and you bring it to the side here. And on this quote here, because I started out with the author's name and the text, I didn't need to put their name in the citation. But if that wasn't there, if I had started this sentence off with, for example, in computer-mediated communication, or the text would be better. The text computer-mediated communication defines this concept as any human communication involved through or with the help of computer technology. Here I'd have to put the author's name in. And just for the heck of it, if you are using APA form, you also need the date. So the date is, should be here. It's not there because that came from the text. Hold on. So we go to the copyright information. We got 2004. We come here and we would put 2004 and a comma, Kindle location. And that's it. I know that this is a little bit of a long video, but hopefully this gave you some instructions on different aspects of the quoting and paraphrasing process and how to utilize it inside a discussion post. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Aloha.